I didn't want to have to make this video. But I have a confession to make. I shower naked. I don't even wear my socks in the shower. Oh, God. Well, good evening, laddies, lasses, and lassos. Welcome to the Click You Smell Astounding today, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Today, we're gonna do something absolutely beautiful. Did you enjoy that riveting story, the truth off my chest, the drama of that intro? Well, there is more where that came from, baby. Welcome to r/True Off My Chest, where we read enticing stories, hopefully discuss some interesting topics, and get into the real swamps, shall we? Enjoy. Mwah. Excelente! Okay, I'm gonna calm down. Calm down, click. Clicky clucky. Bleb bleb. r/True Off My Chest. I have been consistently spending hundreds of dollars a month getting Redditors kicked off their favorite subreddits for 2 years. What? Okay, I need to figure out what this is. Around 2 years ago, I fell down a rabbit hole of parasocial fixation directed towards a semi-popular YouTuber. The details of who aren't important. All you need to know is that they have a series of videos where they react to memes of their own subreddit. For months, I was obsessed with the idea of something I made getting into one of their videos. So I decided to game the system with one of the many online botting services that let you buy upvotes. That way, I could force my memes onto the subs trending tab. I learned 2 things doing this. The first is that these services work in the short term. Most paid upvote sites will net you about 100 upvotes for the price of a lunch, which is enough to get a post off the ground, but you need a decent post to gain momentum unless you're willing to invest a lot into forcing one to go viral. The second thing I learned is that Reddit is pretty good at catching you when you cheat the system. After sinking $30 into a post to get the ball rolling, my account got slapped by a 12-day suspension for suspicious activity. In the end, it wasn't super useful for getting a meme into a video compilation. What it did prove useful was for winning arguments. You see, a lot of paid upvoting services will try their best to implement safeguards against Reddit's automatic detection. This is usually in the form of spacing out their updates over time, 10 upvotes a minute or 100 spread out over an hour in random intervals, and so on. If you're really desperate to boost a post in one spot, you can tell these services to dump 100 upvotes on a post or a comment instantly. This site warns you that this will almost certainly get you suspended, but you can do it anyway. You can probably figure out where this is going. After my account got suspended, I was left with about 300 upvotes worth of credits. They make you buy in bulk. And the cold on the idea was using it for Reddit Cloud. But there was a really active user on the sub who I did not like very much. So I dumped the rest of my upvotes onto one of his comments to see what would happen. Lo and behold, guy stopped posting for a week straight. I check his account near the end of the month and see him complaining about his account getting frozen and Reddit refusing to help. Oh my god, this is such a nasty method. Oh dear god. And buddy, let me tell you, for a guy with very few hobbies, a well-paying job, and a lot of time on my hands, this is like being given the power of a god. The most sophisticated anti-botting tools in the world can only detect when vote manipulation happens. But moderation is only making the normal, rational assumption that the person whose votes gets inflated is the same person who bought the votes, that they will issue a ban. They can't just audit these bot sites for logs. They can't account for inexplicit malice. This reliably gets people locked out of their accounts, banned from their favorite subreddits, and I am pretty sure I've gotten a few accounts permanently banned by forcing repeat offenses over months of botting. The account stopped posting, that's for sure. What are they going to do in an appeal? Say it wasn't them buying their fake upvotes? I have spent hundreds of dollars monthly, literal thousands of dollars on this over 2 years. This might be my new favorite hobby. I have the money to burn to keep up as long as I want. I don't think I'll ever stop. Holy shit! This is so wild! Well, I suppose they say that money is the true power in the world, and it seems like it applies on Reddit as well. My god. And how would they even go about banning something like this? Because it's so, it's not tied to a specific account. You can literally do this, even if you don't own the account that's getting upvoted. Oh my god. I mean, to be fair, it gets really, really expensive fast, and most internet trolls aren't willing to spend money to troll, so I don't think it's gonna be like this, wildfire phenomenon that all the accounts get banned because of something like this, but if there are a couple of people out there that have a lot of money to burn and are bored, yeah, I can see that happening. Jesus Christ, dude. My mom likes it when our cat sleeps with her, so when I find my cat sleeping alone, I move her to my mom's room. The next day, she tells me that our cat went to sleep with her and it makes her happy. Oh, this is just like the pickup. The previous post is all about conspiracies, online money, botting, getting people banned, and the power and corruption of money in our world. And now we just have a cute little, oh my god, I plant a pet in my mom's bed so she's happy. This, oh, yes! This is what I love about these subreddits, like the absolute contrast of the post is just mwah. She put Nair in the conditioner. I think that's the stuff they use to remove hair for context. And having that in conditioner is pretty bad because it does the opposite. Anyway, let's see what this doozy have to tell us. I, female 19, have a friend, female 20, who I share natural hair tips and product recommendations with, and she wanted me to try this deep conditioner she was loving, and get my opinion on it, and just gave me the jar to borrow, which I was like, oh cool, because I didn't want to spend money on something I probably wasn't going to use. After the one time anyways. Oh, okay, there are no dots in this. Alright, anyway. Since I already have stuff that's worked out just fine for my hair, I did my usual wash routine and looked up the product before using it. Read some pretty good reviews, but what had me a little confused were the people loving the smell. Cause mine smelled awful, like trying to spray perfume over rotting food. Oh, you see that? You cover the poo-poo with a little bit of cream and everyone is happy. I got paranoid, I guess, but I was like, no way, right? So I put a little on my arm, and at first I was like, okay, I'm being silly, but waited, and then got that familiar tingle most people know if they've ever gotten tired of the typical manual shave. I rubbed it off, and what do you know, the spot is now hairless. Now, I'm not sure if it was Nair exactly, because it was mixed with a conditioner, but definitely some sort of hair removal cream regardless. A little something about deep conditioner hair masks. You typically leave them on for 30 minutes, and I'm sure I would have noticed if my scalp started tingling, but screw being bald, I could have gotten chemically burned. I almost didn't want to blame her exactly, but she literally used it before offering to me. Are you sure about that? Because I think there's a very easy way of telling if she actually used it before you or if she's lying. You know, does she literally have no hair? Huh? She texted me asking when I plan on using it, since I didn't tell her I was doing my wash day, and I don't even know how to confront her. These are the type of people that can kill you.
You need to lie your butt off and tell her you absolutely loved it and made your hair look great. Do this in person so she can see that you still have hair. Her reaction will tell you everything. Wait, I actually really like this idea. We'll keep this in mind.
Let the games begin. Now it's no longer about just finding out the truth. Now it's about seeing if your friend is a fake piece of poo. God, I'm so here for the drama. Isn't drama entertaining when it has nothing to do with you? Like, I feel petty to admit it, but isn't that why drama shows are so popular, you know? My best friend was hooking up with a married man, so I told his wife. Both me and my best friends are 20F. We have been friends for about 5 years or so. I considered her my sister because we are just that close. We tell each other everything, and she told me how she was hooking up with a married man. Mind you, he was 50-something with kids and grandkids. I told her to end it because she was being stupid. She knows that I don't condone cheating. I try to keep an open mind, but some things, like cheating, I do not tolerate. This just sounds like a whole homewrecker situation. Ooh, yikes. But she said she's gonna continue hooking up with him because it makes her feel good about herself. Her reasoning was that this married man would rather be with her than his wife, and that made her feel good about herself. You're competing with someone's wife who's happily married, has kids and grandkids, and you're like with this person justifying cheating because
it makes me feel good because I can feel superior to someone else.
I mean, to be fair, it is the husband's responsibility foremost. He's the one who actually is married, but you're also knowingly doing this, you know? I don't think I would ever want to knowingly wreck a home with kids, grandkids, and wife. Come on. I need you all to know this. Hooking up with a married person is not a brag, it just means you're pathetic. I asked her what about his wife, and she said she doesn't care about his wife. Her words were,
if his wife was being a good wife, then he wouldn't be out here doing other stuff.
And that just pissed me off. That sounds like a very classic cheater excuse.
Oh my god, I wouldn't have done something bad if you were fully there for me.
It doesn't work like that. If that really is the case, you move on from the relationship. What is this kind of like game-playing BS? No, stop. I screenshot all of our texts. She would send me videos of them doing stuff together. Their text combos, their dates, gifts he bought her, videos of him bad-mouthing his wife, and so much more. Why are you sharing this with your friend? Can you imagine sitting on your couch, just chilling a Friday after work, and your friend just sends you a video, be like, hey, here is me being nude with a random married man. Stacy, what the frick? So I saved all of that. I easily found him on social media because my friend was following him. That MF didn't even make his account private. He posted pics of his wife, kids, and grandkids. From there, I found his wife on social media, followed her, and sent her a DM with all the proof. Then I sent friend a text saying, paraphrasing here, that she is scum of the earth and I don't want anything to do with her. After that, I blocked her on everything. Sent the wife a DM about an hour ago and she hasn't responded yet.
Who the F sends their friends explicit naughty footage of themselves? That's just...
With people like this, there are so many levels of yikes. Like, first off is the cheating. Obviously, like, you're home-wrecking something knowingly and having a severe lack of empathy. The second is the fact that you're so insecure that you need to like, feel superior to someone else's wife. And if you enable them to cheat, that means that you feel better about yourself because you outcompeted the wife? That is just... What? Why do you need to ruin someone else's life to feel good about yourself? That is so nasty. So I think in this case, dropping a friend like that might be a good idea, because at what point are you gonna be the victim, you know? If you get a boyfriend that she likes, is she gonna try to play the same game there? And like, to be fair, the main responsibility is always on the person who's in the relationship, but like, this is really nasty, man. Like, the attitude is so bad. I believe my husband over my friend and I don't feel bad. Throwaway because my friends and husband use Reddit. Trigger warning, mention of SA, so heads up, you can skip a couple of minutes ahead if that is a sensitive topic for you. So we celebrated my husband's birthday this past weekend. We went to a club and then set up our house for the after party, including the guest room and the living room for our friends to crash in so they wouldn't have to drive or get an Uber. This is important because even if sometimes we have sleepovers in the master bedroom, I told him this time it was just me and my husband because we might do stuff together. And the after party died and my husband and I went to sleep, and as predicted, we were intimate of course and fell asleep half naked. My husband woke me up and he looked very uncomfortable and upset. He asked me to go to the living room because my friend was still asleep, and he asked me if I had invited her to sleep with us. And I remembered him. We set up the guest room for her and my other friend, both girls and really good friends. He asked me to talk to her because he was touching me all night, but now he's not sure if it was me and that he would apologize if he did. Wait a second, this girl just snuck into bed with this couple? That's really weird. I woke her up and explained that I asked everyone to stay out of our bedroom because we wanted to be intimate, and that when she saw we were in underwear, she shouldn't have gotten into bed, and she said that nothing had happened, but my husband and I still apologized if we made her feel uncomfortable and asked her to stay out of the room if we asked her to do so next time. Everything seemed to be okay after that because all of us had breakfast, saw a movie and played video games. Everyone left in the afternoon. And after that we were sharing TikToks and messaging. Everything seemed to be just fine. But yesterday I got a super long message from her saying that she felt assaulted and taken advantage of, then proceeded to explain in detail the way my husband touches me when he's asleep. I told her I'm sorry that she felt that way, and I would have told my husband to reach out to her and apologize again, but that's why I asked everyone to stay out of the room. We weren't expecting to share the bed with everyone else. She then started to say she never wanted to see him again, and she would give me time to process and take the right stand, make the right choice. Girl, you slipped into bed, non-consensually, with a married couple who were already asleep and drunk. What? And I told her I had nothing to do. We were very clear that day that we didn't expect anyone else to be with us in the room, let alone the bed, and that I wouldn't invalidate her experience, but she can't expect me to drop my husband when he was in bed with his wife, and she was the one who got into our bed of a married, drunk, asleep couple without our consent. Yeah, it's... What? How do you turn this the other direction? This is so inappropriate. She blocked me and started to talk with all our friends, but everyone knew of the situation already. I feel bad for her because maybe she felt scared, but I don't know what else to do. And I felt terrible for my husband that his name is being dragged like this, and I feel like a bad feminist because you're always supposed to back up your fellow women. But in this situation, I just can't bring myself to do so. I don't know what to do next. That is just a horrible situation overall, but it sounds like you made it very clear what you wanted, and she actually went into bed when both of you were undressed without your consent while you were asleep. That is really creepy. That is the whole like assaulty thing, if you ask me. You can't slip into bed between a couple that's already asleep and then be upset if someone turns around and puts their arm around you. Like people are asleep and they don't think anyone else is in the bed. What are you talking about? And this is really controversial territory, but I would also say that don't feel bad on a moral standpoint. Like this isn't the direction of offense, so to say, and supporting something like this I don't think is the way to go about it. I hope she feels better, and hopefully she has someone to talk to about this, because she does sound like she might need some help regarding this. It's a really weird course of action, but I hope you deal with it fine. Like, this does not sound like fun. My friends told me that dating a plus-size girl is embarrassing. I, 19F, recently started dating a girl who's also 19F. As the title says, she is plus-sized. She is still one of the most gorgeous people I have ever seen. Big blue eyes, luscious curly brown hair, and an adorable smile. I recently told my friends about her and they were very excited for me. I showed them a picture and they kinda went quiet. One giggled and I asked what was funny. She said,
No offense, but why is she so big?
And everyone else giggled. I told them to cut it out and stop being disrespectful for no reason whatsoever. My friend, who we will call Jenna, later told me,
I'm sorry, but you're fit and she's not. And you should be embarrassed to admit to dating her. I'm just saying that everyone else is here thinking it isn't that deep.
Oh gee, I do not miss being 19, oh my god. I told Jenna I have no reason to be embarrassed about anything, and the girl I'm with is the sweetest and prettiest girl ever. Jenna kinda laughed and said,
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I am still so angry about all this. The girl is amazing and none of my friends give a poo about anything but her body. I am not sure what I should do. Anyways, just wanted that off my chest, thanks for reading. Please don't introduce your girl to your friends if you're determined to keep them around. If they're this excited to play mean girls without her around, I can't imagine the passive-aggressive shite-talking they'll do once she graces them with her presence. Take a minute to think about the type of people you're investing your time into. I mean, here's the thing. They don't have to agree with your dating preference, but it's also none of their business because it's not someone they're dating. This is not about like, oh my god, setting standards, blah blah blah. They just want someone to bully. That's it. And they can't even be happy for their friend that they find someone they genuinely like. Think about that. The priority is literally to bully someone instead of being happy for your friend who's found a date. That's the priority they make. It's a very nasty priority. I'm really glad I'm not 19 anymore. My god. I killed my fiance's cat yesterday. Oh dear, I hope it's not like the same cat that was planted in that bed. I don't think it is. I'll be very surprised. Let's get into it. This sounds nasty. My fiance had a cat before we started dating. When I moved in, it was an adjustment for him. He would occasionally scratch or bite me, but we started getting along okay. We ended up getting a kitten together after a few months. Not long after we brought the new kitten home, the old cat started being very aggressive or defensive towards me, either running into the office and biting me or running screaming into the corner when I entered the room. What? That sounds so dramatic. What? I didn't grow up around cats, so I didn't really know what to do, so I just tried to stay cool and not take it too personally. I'm gonna be honest, this doesn't sound like inexperience with cats, this sounds like something is very wrong. Last November, I was doing dishes, and when I was going to put a pan away and saw him in the corner cabinet, which I was needing to access, I thought I would slip by him and put the pan away, and he actually wasn't screaming at me for once, so I stuck my hand in the cabinet. He bit into my hand and latched on and started shredding my arm with his back claws. I tried pulling him off, smacking his head, scruffing him, but nothing would get him to relax his grip. Eventually, I had to smack my arm into the tile for what felt like forever, but was probably half a minute. He fell off and sat there in shock for 5 minutes. I ended up going to the hospital and needed a 2-week course of antibiotics. It took 2 months for the fingers on my right hand to work properly again. A few of them still hurt when I grip things. Now, I don't hate cats, but like I said, I didn't grow up around them and I'm not enamored by them like a normal cat person would be. Needless to say, this incident was a very tough pill to swallow. I couldn't ask my fiancée to get rid of her cat, it's very important to her, and I figured it was better to just be uncomfortable around him than to ask her to give him up. And then it happened again. But let's be honest here, this has gone way past the point of just being uncomfortable with a pet. This is literally dangerous. You're talking about like wounds that take weeks to heal, potential infections, and what about if this creature jumps you when you're asleep? Like, this is really bad stuff. Now, of course, it could also be that the cat is being mistreated in some way, but based on the story, it doesn't sound like it unless some details are being withheld. So I don't know, it sounds like some really behavioral problems on this cat. Like, normal functioning cats don't do this stuff to people they live with. One day in December, I went to grab something off the bottom row of the food shelf, not knowing that he was hiding down there. Same thing happened again. Cat attaches, fight as hard as he can to stay attached, my arm is shredded, and my hand swells up to damn near half the size. This time he was hurt in the exchange, his lower jaw was broken. He's on cage rest for a month. Once he's out, he generally avoids me. He still makes noises and runs away whenever I enter the room. He still will swat at me if I walk by. My fiancé is distraught at the situation, so we work together to try to get him to accept me. I'm gonna be honest, if you have to go to the hospital twice because of the pet, and you genuinely care about the partner, you get rid of the pet. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm saying this as someone who's had both dogs and cats and bunnies. I've taken care of horses. Like, I have a large array of creatures. If you live with an animal that does this, you can't keep the animal. That's like so far out. My fiancé is distraught at the situation, so we worked together to try to get him to accept me. This last week it felt like it was finally paying off. 2 days ago he actually rubbed up against me and let me pet him. Mind you, it was because he wanted food, and he turned nasty again the second he got it, but it was so nice for the bit it lasted. And then yesterday it happened. I was changing his litter box and got down on one knee. He was behind me and one of my legs went back, must have shot towards him because he jumped on my leg and starting the attack routine. It wasn't easy, but I managed to reach behind me and pull him off. I pinned him with my one hand on his upper back neck and went to stand up. When I relaxed my hold, he scampered into the kitchen, ending up in the cabinet again. I finished what I was doing and went to check on him. He wasn't moving in the cabinet. I went and got my bite-proof gloves and went to check on him. You know when you need bite-proof gloves for a house pet? It's way too far gone, man. It's way too far gone. He didn't fight or struggle, and he was barely moving. He went limp in my arms and died shortly after I pulled him out. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what I did. I never intended for it to happen. Yes, I was upset. It's been hard living with a pet attacking me at random, but I just wanted him off my leg. My fiancé is completely distraught. She's basically not talking to me, and I've been leaving her be as to not aggravate the situation. Like, it's okay to grieve. But at this point, it sounds like your fiancé has literally been acting in self-defense multiple times and has been literally hospitalized because of your pet. This is so wild. We have a good relationship, our wedding is this month, and I'm afraid this might be the wedge that pulls us apart. I don't blame her for being upset, but I don't know what I could have done differently. I don't want people to think I'm a monster, and I don't want to lose her. To whomever ends up reading this, thank you. I feel I have no one to talk to, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Vet student here. OP, you need to have your fiancé bring the cat to the vet for an autopsy. It's likely that this will clear the air, because I'm willing to bet my student loans that the cat had some underlying health issue that caused him to behave that way and then suddenly pass. Regardless, none of this is your fault. Your fiancé should have taken him to the vet long ago. Indeed, if a pet is acting like this, and it hasn't done that before, something is either horribly wrong in the house, but it doesn't sound like that was the case because the cat initiated all of the conflicts, at least as far as the story lets us know. Or it could be an underlying health issue. I know, for example, cats that have started peeing on the floor, for like a more lighthearted example, because they've had some health issues that makes it hurt when they try to sit down in the box. So it's not that they try to pee somewhere else, it's just that something else makes the symptom worse when they specifically go pee in the box. Or it could be something like some sort of tumor, you know, a brain tumor on the cat that could have radically changed the behavior and aggression very quickly. But this cat should have been checked up on long before the first serious attack happened. Like, if it's starting to act this aggressive out of nowhere, something needs to be done. As someone who's owned multiple pets, I just feel like it's so irresponsible for the fiancé in this situation to not do anything about it. Like, don't check up the cat. It seems like you just keep letting it happen, hoping they will sort of get along. It's like, no, that's not... No. What? Not safe for work. I think my dad just caught me. This is possibly the worst thing that has ever happened to me. I am on the verge of tears and I'm tempted to never show my face to him again. So I was just in my bed, having some fun with myself, and when I was done, I heard some noise coming from the kitchen. My heart literally dropped because this has never happened before. He usually comes home to get lunch or just to check in, but I thought I was in the clear. He knocked on my door and said hi like he usually does. I tried to sound sleepy and say I was about to take a nap. He said okay and left, but what's making the most worried is that I happen to be using something that makes noise, if you get what I mean. This is possibly the most embarrassing thing I've ever gone through, and I've written down, so please don't judge. I can't talk to any of my friends about that because they would have been even more embarrassing. I don't know what to do. Do I bring it up and beg that he never speak of it? What if he didn't hear me and bring it up just causes awkward atmosphere forever? I have no clue how to go forward other than just cry of embarrassment. Solo dad here with a daughter. Don't worry, it will never be brought up. Yeah, I think that's pretty true. Like, here's the thing. People do stuff like this. Everyone does, or almost everyone, at least. And like, it happens that people get caught, and the best way to deal with it, pretend it never happened. Like, it's fine. It is perfectly fine. Do not worry about it. I am tired of hearing how lucky I am. I am so tired of being told how lucky I am that I don't have kids. My wife and I have been in an agreement for a couple years now that we don't want kids. We travel a lot. We have nice things. My wife is starting her master program with a 3.7 GPA soon. All of this because we don't have kids. My sister-in-law tells us all the time how jealous she is that we went to Mexico last year, and we're going to Europe next year, and we go to Disney 2 to 3 times a year. My brother and sister-in-law have a little girl. Nothing wrong with that. They are pretty good parents and I love my niece. But they chose to get pregnant right after they got married. That was their decision. Sister-in-law wants to travel, wants to have nights out with her friends, wants more money, wants to finish school, etc. All the things that we get to do because we chose not to have kids. But I am tired of it. We aren't lucky. We made the decision. We like sleep, quiet, money, peace, traveling, all the things that are almost impossible to achieve with children. I think in general in life, it's just really important to recognize when a decision has a large impact. That doesn't mean it's only negative, for example. Having children and family is a wonderful thing. It might not be for everyone, but of course it makes you more busy as well. That doesn't mean you have to stop being an individual person, but to pretend that you will have the same amount of time for everything else you used to is of course not gonna happen. Like, life changes. I mean, maybe the best way here is to like do the exact same thing back, but things that regard the child. It's like, oh, you went to this child's birthday party or did this or that. Oh, I'm so jealous. You're so lucky that you get to have a fulfilling life like this. Maybe that's the way to do it. Just return the favor, so to say. That's honestly a pretty lighthearted way of doing it. I would probably do that. That's pretty funny. Learned a long time ago not to make those kind of comments. Heard someone tell a friend how lucky she was to only have one child, and then the friend began to describe her debilitating health issues preventing more children. Whether it's a personal choice or circumstance, just shut up about people's families. Oh my god, I feel that in my spine. That feels like one of those conversations at the office gone completely wrong. My mom has changed therapists for me because the previous one refused to tell her what I said during our sessions. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a mama group gossip. Come on now. I overheard my mom and dad having a conversation, and my mom said that she thought it's BS that they refused to give her what I said during our sessions. I hate that I have to do it all over again. I already feel as if nothing is working out for me and becoming very increasingly more pessimistic about myself and future. I hate this. My mom once pulled me from therapy because my therapist started taking my side and counseling my child psychiatrist and the dynamic between my mother and I, causing the psychiatrist to change my diagnosis very much to the anger of my mother. So I desperately needed support at the time, and of course she took it from me when I finally found some. I don't talk to my mother anymore. I wish you luck. That is absolutely horrible. You know those stories when parents try to live through their kids? This is like that, but with like serious mental health stuff. What the heck? I hope you find someone that will actually support you like this. I hope you have more family than just this mother, but things like this are incredibly difficult. That's partially the reason why I read the Insane Parents subreddit so often, because this is something I so strongly believe in myself. It's always horrible to see when a parent behaves this way because they have such immense power over their children, and that can be misused to a very nasty degree. I am crying over a computer. I, 29F, feel so stupid crying over a computer. It's just a piece of technology, right? Wrong. This PC I built, I upgraded this PC every chance I could. I've had it for 7 years. It traveled with me. It's helped me survive horrific relationship. It moved with me in the front seat. It was a big beast of a machine and helped me survive trauma by letting me escape into video games, art, and so much more. I did work, played games, I built programs. It was part of my life. The PC couldn't keep up with the new tech and money started getting tight because of inflation. It was inevitable. I'm not surprised, but when I tried running updates and upgrades, it bricked. Mostly everything was saved via a spare hard drive, but the BIOS won't boot anymore. I shouldn't have been bawling my eyes out, but this was my escape. The only item I had left that I owned, nurtured and kept alive. But here we are, the demise of old tech. Now I need to save up 3k to build a new one and keep up with my needs, escapes. It's sad. This PC was my Jarvis. If you would like to, I would love to try and help you. DM me, please. Thank you so much for helping me build my PC back up. I can't thank you enough for bringing it back to an operational status. Oh my god, happy ending! This is so beautiful. It's so good. Yes. Oh. Looks like the issue was resolved. Can anyone share what it was? Windows updates are bad for old computers. Oh, they definitely are. When I tried to update this one, people were memeing on me on stream. We literally had an emote about Windows 7 because I had Windows 7 up until like a year and a half ago, something like, because I loved it. There was a point in updating, but then all of a sudden you get to the point where some softwares simply do not function anymore. So I bought Windows 10 and I started upgrading my computer, but because it was so complex and set up and a little bit old, it simply did not work. I had to literally wipe the entire computer and reset everything and reinstall everything to actually upgrade the operating system, which according to the support I talked to is surprisingly common. I miss Windows 7, man. It was so much more stable than Windows 10. I never had blue screen issues or crashes or anything. Oh my god, Windows 10, you're nice, sort of, but damn, the stability just ain't there, man. Wife only watches lesbian stuff. I was talking to my wife about maybe watching naughty stuff together as we have never done so before. She said she doesn't really watch it when she does stuff, but when she does, she enjoys lesbian stuff the most. She said a couple of her friends would vouch that most straight women actually enjoy that more. I wasn't satisfied with my poll, so I asked a few friends to ask their wife, and 3 came back with the same answer. And now only 2 came back with a no. Now our friend group is in the midst of a civil war and some are panicking. Is this actually true for most straight women? Or did me and some of my friends marry women that are too scared to say they swing both ways? P.S. Her sexuality is not the focal point of my question, as I know for sure she's attracted to me and other men. Adam Driver. So I don't mind her liking women if she does. I am a straight woman. I don't exclusively watch lesbian stuff, but I do it because obviously it's very focused on female pleasure. For me, it's not about the fact that it's women together. It's just easier to find a female-focused video with this kind of stuff. I've talked to my boyfriend about it, and once I explained that, he was completely fine with it. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like a pretty reasonable response, yeah, for sure. As a mom, I love having a child-free sister. My sister, F29, is child-free by choice, and she plans to keep it that way for the rest of her life. She doesn't hate kids, she just doesn't want them. I never force her to interact with my kids or let alone babysit, but she's incredibly nice to my kids, and my kids love her, and she's considered the rich auntie to them. Every birthday, or sometimes randomly, she would buy them these great gifts. The only downside is that she has them hooked on Squishmallows. Because she loves them herself, and now my house has turned into a mosh pit of Squishmallows. But I seriously don't mind. As for me, I love having someone I hang out with that doesn't have kids or a mom. Like when my kids were with the ex-in-laws for the weekend, and we randomly decided to go to Mexico, and I had a blast. It was just nice not feeling like a total mom. Your individual identity gets sometimes. So it was a nice reminder that I'm still a fun person, but just a random appreciation post for my child-free sister. I suppose it also makes it easier to plan things. Like if both of you are super busy and have families and everything to manage, fitting the small gaps in the schedule is really hard. But if one person is more flexible because they don't have a family like that of course also makes it much easier. So, yay for hangout, social stuff, woo! I have a micro PP. Hey everyone, I just wanted to share something that's been weighing heavily on me for a long time. I have a micro PP, and it's been extremely difficult to find a partner who can accept me for who I am. I'm not here to complain or ask for sympathy, I just need to get this off my chest. Growing up, I always knew I was different from other boys. I didn't understand why it was so small, and I felt like I was less of a man because of it. As I got older, I started to realize just how much of an impact this was going to have on my life. I've been rejected by countless women because of my size. Some of them were polite about it, while others were cruel and made fun of me. It was a terrible feeling to be reduced to something like that, to feel like you're not even worth being intimate with. It's led to a lot of depression and anxiety for me. One particularly awful experience was when I finally worked up the courage to ask out a girl I really liked. We went on a few dates, and things seemed to be going well. One night we ended up back at her place and started fooling around. When she saw it, she immediately started laughing and said she couldn't do it. I was devastated. I've never felt so small and worthless in my entire life. That is just horrible. That is so sad. Like this, when you're in a vulnerable state like this, laughing at the other person probably isn't the way to go about things, no matter what the topic is about. Jesus Christ. I know there are a lot of people out there who will tell me just to get over it, that size doesn't matter and all of that. But the truth is, it does matter to a lot of people. And it's not just about the naughty stuff. It's about feeling like a complete human being. It's about feeling like you're not broken or defective. I'm not sure what the point of this post is, really. I guess I just wanted to vent and let people know that there are others out there going through similar struggles. If you're someone who's dealt with this, please know that you're not alone. And if you're someone who's ever made fun of someone for their size, please understand that the kind of pain you're causing. We're all just trying to find our place in the world, and some of us have a harder time than others. That is such a heartbreaking story. That is, I wish people were less cruel in general. If you have a true micro-PP, which would prevent classical naughties, I think the first step is honestly coming to a place of acceptance. If you don't accept your body for what it is, and whatever limitations you might have, experiencing rejection from others is always going to be 100% more painful. Some people are size queens, some prefer the classic naughties over the varieties of intimacy, and there are those who genuinely don't care about size because that kind of classic naughties isn't for them. I'm not telling you to front-load your conversations with "By the way, I have the micro-PP," but I'm telling you this is something you need to be upfront and honest about before intimacy, not during. A while back, there was a story on here from a woman who found out her fiancé had a micro-PP on their wedding night. He had lied about being devout, refused to let her see him nude or touch his personal space because he thought if he could get her to marry him, she wouldn't be able to walk away. She was devastated, not by his size, but by the lie. You are who you are. Some things we cannot change about ourselves. The right person for you is someone who will accept you and your body, but you have to give them the opportunity. Springing this on someone during the naughty times isn't the right time. The right time would be when you have genuine interest in someone and that interest is reciprocated. There are many ways to be intimate with someone, including other stuff you do like this. Sorry. Some awesome human out there over the course of history made a variety of naughty stuff also. So you might not be able to do the traditional stuff, but you know what? Giving you some other methodology wouldn't be that painful of affair or chore it normally is. I mean that in the best way. I'm assuming you've never tried to give a well-endowed man the before. Let me tell you, at some point it becomes uncomfortable AF and your jaw aches for days. Your size can also be a blessing. I would recommend therapy. I know that gets said a lot in the sub, but I would also recommend dating apps and groups where there are people who are honest about their naughty needs and start looking for people who aren't into the traditional stuff. There is nothing wrong with you, OP. We're all a little different, and that's okay. That is such a sweet comment. I do hope it works out. It cannot be easy, but I agree with the comment that the key is probably to find someone who genuinely enjoys similar things to what you do. For example, if you have something in your life that you think is a limitation of what you can do or what you're able to do, you have to find someone who either thinks that limitation isn't a big deal or someone who isn't into the stuff that is limiting in the first place. If you can find that perfect overlap, it won't be a bother in the relationship, which is kind of what this comment is getting at. I think they have a good point there, but talking to someone about it, I think, can be a very healthy first step, and also figuring out how to talk about it and how to find that potential future partner. Wish you the best of luck. That cannot be easy. Well, laddies, lasses, and lasses, I do hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed having you here, and also you. I would never forget about you, and also you. Take care, and have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in the very near future. Take care. Mwah! Oh, that's so smooth. Ah, yes.